Hi guys, welcome to Strength Reversed. Thanks for joining me. My name is Amy and welcome to part 2 of my garage sale deck haul. Now if you haven't watched part 1, you should probably start there and read the comments because they're pretty entertaining. People talked about how triggered they were or, you know, their worst nightmare is thinking you were getting tarot cards and ending up with Doreen Virtue Oracle cards. But it was super fun going through all of these decks and organizing them. I wanted to make this video sooner, but yesterday I went jogging with Michael, and we jog around this church that has a lot of grounds, and I was like doing leg exercises on the side of a fountain and my phone fell in the fountain. So I panicked and it didn't fall it didn't land where it fell. So I was having to wade through the fountain, and I put it in some rice and I put it in the sun, and I thought I was going to have to replace it, but so far so good. Hope the sound is okay. I love this phone. I am still on a Galaxy S6 and I have driven off with it on the roof of my car. I have, you know, it's been underwater and it still keeps plugging away. I love this thing. Anyway, let me give you a quick update and then I'll show you the second batch of cards, and then I will at the end go through all of the odds and ends and extra cards that were left over. So after I made part 1, I took all those decks that I featured there, and I was at Michael's house and I went through them, and I immediately started hyperventilating because all of the decks were missing a card here, 2 cards there, 5 cards in this one. And I thought, who can live like this? How can you sleep at night with decks in this state? But I decided not to panic until I went through the rest of the decks, and sure enough, most of the decks were complete. So the Talking to Heaven cards were complete. The Archangel Animal Oracle is complete. I did get a complete Divine Feminine, which I'm excited about. Of course, the bicycle cards, which were a fun surprise. And the Earth Magic Oracle deck, I have 1 complete deck with a guidebook. And then there was a second complete deck that's missing the guidebook and missing the top. And then there was a third deck that is missing 4 of the cards. So that was kind of weird. As far as the tarot deck, I put myself a little note. People were telling me in the comments that this is 2 separate decks, and what they did was the deck that it's supposed to be, which is these backs. No. Yes, these backs. The suits are seasons. And then there was a 4th suit, which are this other deck, which goes by elements. So what they did was they're missing summer, and they just used the suit of water and kind of cobbled together 1 complete, semi-complete deck. There were some extra in the second deck. There were some extra majors, and you can see these are set up exactly the same. So it's kind of confusing. I see what they were doing, but it's still a headache. So I don't know what to do with that deck. I guess I could try to use it as a tarot deck, although the amount of words on it is sort of annoying to me. Anyway, let me switch the camera and I will go through the other decks. Those were a little more disappointing or stressful or whatever adjective. Okay, so part 2 are all Doreen Virtue decks. And some of them are complete, some of them are not, which is a bummer. Now, whatever your taste is in Oracle decks, or if you like Doreen Virtue decks or not, I was not a huge fan even before she informed us that we were all going to hell. Okay, and I'm still not a huge fan. I have to be honest, a lot of her decks kind of all look the same to me. It's like supermodel angels and period at the end of that sentence. So they're not my cup of tea. Some of them I think are prettier than others. They're really fun to go through and sort through. But would I reach for them? Probably not. Now, these were all mixed in with another deck from part 1, and there did end up being 44 of the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. Now, unless there was a duplicate deck where I went through and made sure each deck had one of each card, I have not reset any of these decks. So I might very well go through and find out that they have duplicates or that it's not complete after all, but I'm pretty sure the ones that are complete are complete. These have gilded edges, which is always a plus. Supermodel goddesses. Boobs but no nipples. I guess no nipples is okay. That's weird. The other one is the magical messages from the fairies. This was complete. Now you can kind of see someone, I think whoever had this deck did it because it's on a couple of cards too. And I think it's like nail polish. I don't know if, I mean, it has like sparkles in it and it kind of goes. I mean, you can't really tell unless you know, change the light. But this has the little guidebook, and these are all standard black and white guidebooks, which they seem complete. It's fine. Here's the back, which is a good, pretty color. They are gilded. Now, I like this color scheme a lot better. And they're a little more whimsical. They're kind of cute. So that deck isn't it's cuter, I think, than a lot of the decks. This next deck is the Archangel Oracle cards. This is a 45 card deck, and it is complete with the guidebook. Standard guidebook. Here's the back. Not gilded, that's a shocker. That's a very pretty card. Some of the illustrations like that, I just don't like. This next deck is the Butterfly Oracle cards for life changes. And I think a butterfly is kind of an obvious symbol for life changes, but a perfectly good one. This is a 44 card deck, and I actually had a duplicate of one card, so there were 45 cards. This is here's the back. It's a pretty color. But there were two of these. So the deck is complete. This deck, however, I think has a lot of the worst, a lot of what I don't like about some Oracle decks all wrapped up in one deck. So anything that could go wrong with an Oracle deck, to me, went wrong here. First of all, you know, gilding helps anything. What it looks like is a bunch of life changes that anyone would go through. Okay, that's fine. You move, you retire, change jobs, you know, divorce, whatever. And also a list of new age buzzwords. And then they just attach random pictures of butterflies. The picture doesn't necessarily go with the title. And I'm quite sure that Doreen Virtue wasn't romping through a meadow taking photos of all these butterflies. Probably what happened is a graphic artist at Hay House put a bunch of stock photos with these titles, and it took them an hour, and then they charge you $20. I just don't think there's a whole lot of thought that goes into this one. And even after looking at them for all of 1 minute, here's what I found. Okay, so they couldn't even find different stock photos. These are mirror images, hobbies, and sobriety, and parental care. So, yeah, did not like that deck. I just didn't think that was well done. It was just one of those decks that was cranked out. The rest of the decks, some are complete, but there might be a duplicate that is missing some. Here is a deck that is missing 3 cards, and that is the Angel Therapy deck. I'm going to stop showing these guidebooks. They all look the same. Here's the back of the cards. Gilded. Don't like the borders. Supermodel angels. I would imagine a lot of the messages are pretty similar. This deck is missing 1, and it's the Ascended Masters deck. Here's what the back looks like. Gilded. It's an interesting concept, but I just don't think it was necessarily the style I would like of illustration. The next deck is the Archangel Raphael healing cards. Now, I have 2 decks of this. So this one is complete. It has the guidebook. The backs of the cards look like this. And these were coming out of all sorts of decks. I had these green ones mixed in. Gilded. Same kind of setup and styles of pictures. And there is a second deck, and I do like how the bottoms have that same design. The second deck has the guidebook, it has the box, and it's missing 1 card. That's right, 1 card. 1 card. I know. Let me say it again. It's missing 1 card. These are the Love and Light cards. There's a box. There is a guidebook. There are 2 decks, and they are both missing the same 11 cards. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that. But yeah, somewhere that other person who got all of the decks before I did has 2 halves of these decks. And together, we could make 2 complete decks. The Indigo Angel Oracle cards, there were 2 of this. This one's complete. I really like the backs of these. Gilded, but silver. What would you call gilded if it's silver? I'm not sure I like this style of illustration. I mean, they're kind of pretty, actually. The other box is missing the guidebook and missing 1 card. That is a bummer. Now, we have 2 messages from your angels cards. They both have guidebooks. The back looks like this. The other box has, it was easy to separate which cards go with which deck because you can see that this box has just a darker blue around it, but they are both missing one card. And I could tell that I didn't have to go through each of them because of the different border colors, but each deck is missing one card, if you can believe that. That was a lot of decks and super fun to go through. I will probably reset some of them in front of the TV with the guidebook just to see what order they started out in. What decks am I going to keep? Well, I will for sure keep the Unicorn playing cards. And for now, I am going to keep the Divine Feminine Oracle. A couple of other things maybe, I'm not sure yet. Now, the decks that are complete, I will be selling now or later. The decks that are incomplete, I'm not sure about. People are telling me to collage and journal and do arts and crafts, but you and I both know that's not going to happen, okay? They're going to sit in my closet, and I'm going to see them and say, I should be collaging and arts and craftsing, and I'm not going to do it. And so I'm not even going to do that to myself. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I will pass them along or do something with them. Now, I will tell you the things that I had left over. All of this stuff was found mixed in, which makes me wonder, because they were in such disarray, if someone's kids got into them. There were lots of covers to coloring books that were trimmed to fit the bottom of the boxes. I just don't spend enough time staring at the bottom of the box to want to do that. But there were other things like the instructions for Christmas lights, an ad for a walk-in tub, an ad for an LED light, or maybe it's peanut brittle. Who knows? I don't know. And then the things that I showed you on the last one. So all of that, I'm not sure if it meant something or if it was secret or what that was, but it was a surprise. Now, if you know what Doreen Virtue decks these are, I have this one card left over. Here's another one. This is Jade, it says. And then I have 3 of these cards. I also have the Magician and High Priestess from the Wild Unknown. I might keep these and just display them because I like how, like that way. I like, they're just balanced and they're pretty, and I kind of like those. I also had 13 cards of the Wild Unknown animal. Was it the spirit animal? I'm not sure what it was called, but I have 13 of these cards. If you need a replacement for, you know, you're missing the elk or something, you can just message me on Instagram. If you live in the United States, I'd be happy to pop a stamp on an envelope and send you a replacement card, because I have lost cards before. I have 4 of these. Now, I know I've seen, has ridges. I know I've seen this deck before. It has snow leopard, mountain goat, tortoise, and zebra. And then I ended up with 22 out of 65 of what people told me was the Animalkin Oracle. I think it was by Sarah Wilder. Was that her name? I really liked this deck. I might keep these and do something with these. But I liked the animal choices, and I liked how they were set up. I actually love these big borders and the colors and design on the back. It has a great finish. So I might look into this deck or do something with these. And then there was a bunch of cards that... Oh, okay, that goes in this box that had the playing cards in it. I think that's what these are. Okay. No, never mind. I'm wrong. They don't fit in here. Never mind. So these are a bunch of prayers. They're very Bible-based, and on the back they have places to write, except you can't really write. It's that smooth, shiny cardstock that a ballpoint pen isn't going to work and a marker is going to smear. So I might give these to my son and see if he wants to just look at them, or I will recycle them. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it. That's the haul. And it was highs and lows and happiness and tears and... But it was worth 10 bucks, don't you think? Yeah, I could for sure make that money back. And just 10 bucks for the experience of sorting cards, I'll do that any day. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Make sure to like or subscribe and let me know in the comments what the heck I'm going to do with all of these incomplete decks. Don't say arts and crafts. It's not going to happen. Bye, guys.